Hi, welcome to Mommas and Mannies. I'm your host, Trina. This is a short form podcast for mamas that are looking for a quick burst of me time. But before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button. Share this with another mama that is looking for some tips for the upcoming trick-or-treating day. And don't forget to hit the like button. But before we get started, this week I'm actually not going to start off with a quote. Since this is going to be a Halloween theme episode, I am going to start off with some kid-friendly Halloween jokes that you can share with your kids. So, the first joke is, what is a vampire's favorite Halloween candy? It says, a sucker. Second joke, what do demons eat for breakfast? This is actually a funny one. What do demons eat for breakfast? Deviled eggs. That's a funny one. So those are just two jokes, that you can share with your kids. They are both really, they're actually not funny jokes. You know, it's kind of like something to give you a smile, especially if you have kids that are too cool to smile, that may actually make them smile. So two great jokes to share while you're prepping for Halloween. So since we're talking about Halloween, guess what time it is? It's Mama time. This week, our Mama time is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be some Halloween tips. So not really focused on Mama time per se, but more focused on Halloween tips to help you feel more relaxed and comfortable while you are going through the Halloween season. Now, if you don't celebrate Halloween, that's fine. Please still stay around and listen and watch the episode. Or if you just absolutely don't want to, of course, like I stated at the beginning of the episode, go ahead and share this with another mama that is going to celebrate and looking for tips and tricks. The biggest thing I remember when I was growing up, not in my church, but I think when I was in high school, I had a coach and they did, oh man, is it a Holy Night? I don't think it's called Holy Night. But what they did, because kids still want to celebrate Halloween. Not necessarily celebrate Halloween, but they want to participate in some type of Halloween activities. So what her church did, and I know it's definitely a few churches here in Metro Atlanta that kind of do the same thing. I can't think of what it's called. I cannot think of the name of this, but it was a bigger church in the Augusta area. What they would do, they would have kind of like a trunk or treat. That's what we would call it now. I can't think of what they used to call it, but it was a place where kids could go. They could be safe. They could still get the candy. They could still do it in a safe place, but they just asked that kids did not dress up in like scary costumes. So if you wanted to be like a fairy or a ballerina, I can't remember, like for little boys, it was kind of like if you wanted to put on your ninja outfit, maybe like a firefighter, police officer, stuff like that. So nothing scary. That way, A, smaller kids don't get scared, and B, you're not focusing on the darker side of Halloween. So trunk or treats are always great if you have a church. If you're not a part of a church, but if you know a local church in your area or your community, please go ahead and share that now so other mamas can have a resource. You can just name the church and put the day that they're having it. I know a lot of places are going to have stuff either the day of Halloween, which is coming up this weekend. Hopefully it wasn't last weekend, which is the weekend before Halloween, or sometimes they may even have stuff like during the week. Definitely check it out. If you know anything, if your church, your organization is doing something, please share that below so other mamas can have somewhere to take our kids that is going to be safe. So that's number one. If you just don't celebrate, but your kids are begging you maybe for some candy or just to get out and have fun with other kids, that's a great thing to do. Next is if you just don't, if it's against your religion or something like that, you just don't want your kids doing that, maybe you can do something at home. So on my Patreon, the Mommas and Mannies Patreon, I am going to have some other things that you can do instead of going trick or treating. So you got to join the Mamas and Manny's Patreon to get and take advantage of those tips. But on the podcast episode, we're just going to go over tips for the actual day of Halloween, or when you're dressing up for Halloween, whatever that may look like. Also, too, I just forgot, a lot of times schools will do it. My daughter, when she was in pre-K, her school actually had like a trick or treat night, and they just asked families to bring in nut-free candies, and they had kids go around, like the teachers were out. It was like a trick or treat, I think. The teachers were out, or they were either in chairs, I can't remember. And the kids got to go around, they got to dress up. So those are just really great things that are alternatives to trick or treating, especially when you have younger kids and you don't want them going out by themselves. Here are some tips to make your trick or treating or the Halloween season go a little bit better. When you're looking for costumes, of course, make sure they're fire resistant. Costumes right now, this week, they're probably going to be discounted because you're only a few days away from Halloween. So definitely you want to make sure and look that is fire resistant. Make sure it fits your kid, it's the right size. Make sure you're not getting something too small so they can actually move around. If you don't want to spend any money on costumes, think about ways that you can do things that's not going to cost that much money. Like, for instance, what if your child wanted to dress up like a character from a movie or something like that? Or one thing I love for girls is to do like a ballerina outfit. If you, Walmart as well as Amazon, they have like the little leotards with the tutus on it. Really inexpensive, a lot of times under $20. If you want to go even less than that, you really have to get creative. Another great thing you can do is get like a headband. Like if your kid wanted to be Bluey or Bingo, you could get the Bluey headband or the Bingo headband, dress them in blue for Bluey or orange for Bingo. So you have to get creative sometimes. So making sure for you, mama, it's affordable. Especially if you have multiple kids, it can really add up quick. Make sure it's the right size and the right fit. If your kids are going out trick-or-treating, it's going to be dark. Make sure the colors are bright enough. Even if you're going to do like the Bluey. Bluey is kind of like a lighter blue, but you still want to have something that your kid has, whether it's the bucket they use or something that's kind of like neon or reflective so they can be seen at night. So those are some great things to think about. If your kid is going trick-or-treating, like you live in a huge neighborhood that's really family friendly and they can walk around, make sure at least one other adult or multiple adults are going out with them. You can definitely do an older sibling if you're comfortable with that, but know where your kids are. You can do something like an air tag if your child has a phone. Make sure their location sharing is on so you'll know where they're at. If they're going with friends, make sure it's several of them and all of them have on bright colored clothes so no one's getting missed. Make sure you have something like a flashlight. Again, if your child has a phone, they have their flashlight feature on. These are some great just safety tips. And I know I said at the beginning of the episode, it's not a mama time, but if you have kids, even older kids that are able to go out by themselves, this is really a mama time if they're going out and about. Find you something to do at home just for those few minutes. But also you want to feel comfortable and at ease knowing your kids are outside. So talked about costume invisibility, good fit. Make sure, like if they're going around in a neighborhood, tell your kids what houses to stay around. Make sure they're not going on too many side streets or anything like that. Always with Halloween, the unwritten rule is make sure you're going up to the house that has their porch light on. That usually means, hey, we're open for trick-or-treating. So we're giving out candy. So make sure they're going around. They go to a home that has the porch light on. Make sure too, even though they have a porch light, make sure it's well lit. Because if you usually live in like a traditional suburban neighborhood, you should be fine with like animals and stuff like that. But like where we live at, just on the way home tonight, I saw a deer. So you just want to be careful. So be aware of your surroundings. Make sure, even I would say, I think my mom one time, she drove us around and it would be to people's houses that we knew. So make sure even in a neighborhood, they're following traffic signals and rules. If it's a stop sign, make sure they know to make sure that the car is at a complete stop. If it's any red lights, make sure they're crossing in the crosswalk, just things like that. Another thing, after they've gone out, they've gotten all their candy, make sure you look through that candy. When they come back in the house, first thing they need to do is make sure they wash their hands. So while they're washing their hands, get them to bring their buckets or whatever they use to get their candy. Put it all out on the table. Look through that candy. Make sure there's nothing open. My mom used to do this. We couldn't eat any candy that was open. Make sure, I know sometimes people like to give out fruit. I don't know about fruit. And the only reason why I say that, because it's not wrapped up. Some places do sell fruit that's wrapped, even like a whole apple, orange, or a banana. But for me, if I was sending my kids out to go trick-or-treating, I don't think I would be comfortable with them eating a piece of fruit unless I knew the person personally. Like, I've been in their home, I know what they live like, I know they're not crazy. It's just too many crazy people out here in the world. So, if it's something homemade, I probably would toss that. Again, unless I know the person and I've seen them cook before. But any homemade, fresh fruit, even if somebody's giving out fresh vegetables, I would rethink that for myself. Now, if you are the type of person that lets your kids have that, that's fine. I would love to hear your explanation of what makes you feel comfortable. Or, like I said, you know the person. So I would really love to hear that. And then I was trying to think. Okay. So the other thing, it just said, make sure for your home that you're using safe decorations as well. So if you have something like, you go around in the houses, they have the big blow ups and all that. Make sure they're actually working on the night of Halloween. You definitely don't want something to not work and then it gets deflated or something like that. So make sure everything's working. The lighting, if you're having kids coming up to your home, is working, is well lit. That way the kids can feel comfortable. They can really see what's going on. So those are just a few tips. If you are doing trick-or-treating with your kids, or if you're passing out candy at your home, definitely keep all these tips and tricks in mind. That way everybody's safe, comes back home in one piece. Everybody's had a great time and everybody is having fun. Please, please, please leave your feedback, your comment. Let me know what you let your kids eat and what you don't let them eat, so other parents would know. Another thing too, I'm just thinking about this, is you have to check brands of candy. Because I know a lot of times you've heard these stories where people have these candies they order offline and they're laced with stuff, or even, who knows what's in it. So I would just say, when you're looking through the candy, make sure it's actually a brand that you know. If you don't know the brand, go ahead and do a quick Google search, see what it is, see what that company's about, so you can get a better understanding before you let your kids eat that. So keep that in mind too. But remember to like, share, hit the bell for notifications so you know when we're coming out with new episodes, as well as reels and shorts. Follow us on all social media platforms at Mommas and Mannies. Don't forget to join our Patreon. We would love to have you there. You can dive a little bit deeper after the podcast episode. We have some other great goodies I would love for you to experience. And please leave comments, so like I said, mamas will know where your trunk or treats are, if your church or other organization is having a gathering where kids can go and dress up and be in a really safe environment. Please do that, because I want other mamas to really get a sense of community. But remember, me time is essential and it is never selfish. Have a great weekend. Happy Halloween.